All right, guys, thank you so much for being here. We have an exciting game going for you where Counterfeit playing Viktor is going to be going against me playing Annie. So this is going to be really exciting. Now, of course, Counterfeit is new to the game as a whole. He is a caster that has been a part of the Rift Lab trials and potentially will be casting in the future Rift Lab clashes and trials as well, though he is no foreigner to casting as a whole. But being new to this game, he is wanting to dive into maybe what you could potentially do to learn the lines and the strategy of this game and trying to take it to a whole new depth for him. So we are going to be diving into what this could potentially be meaning and just having a very fun casual game. We're going to be talking about the different lines that you're going to be taking and things of that nature. So a lot of really exciting things to be able to have there. So without any further ado, let's go ahead and dive in.
Yep, no problem. Okay, good to know. So, yep, go ahead and hit R on your deck. That will shuffle it. And then same on your rune deck. And then, yeah, down here is going to be where your battlefields are, of course. Go ahead and pick your favorite. If you hit Alt-Shift, you can peek at them while they're still face down.
Oh, I knew that functionality was in here, but I've forgotten how it worked.
Yeah, so that can really help.
Okay, so one thing I figured we could also do as well with this is sort of discuss as we go, like what our sort of deck's deals are to make sure it kind of sticks.
Yeah.
So, let me just. Okay, I guess it's about as big as it's going to get. So my thing is, as it looks like it's a fairly standard Viktor thing, is to make a lot of dudes and
have fun doing it. Yeah, exactly. So the biggest thing is, yeah, you're trying to go for overwhelm. The more you have, the better.
So my initial impression, because I played this deck briefly before, was that there's like, because you've got the whole thing of getting a free dude every time your dude dies, you've kind of got more of a tail end on your cards than you'd otherwise have, because they all sort of like functionally have a +1 on the delay.
Yes, exactly. And on top of that as well, there's always going to be times where you might have one rune left over, essentially. And so Viktor's legend ability is just huge, because you also have one of the best turn 2 plays, because you can go ahead and play a 2-drop and then immediately go ahead and add a unit on top of that as well. And so if you have Obelisk, that's a great one to also use when you're going first, because then on turn 2, you can take both battlefields and immediately go up to 2 points. And so it's just a really good opening play with that as well. Yeah.
So, okay, so with that in mind, looking through my deck, I can see I've got some amount of like relatively cheap stuff. It looks like my top end doesn't really exist in the same way that other decks might have. Like,
yeah,
the buff everything sort of looks like sort of game-winning card where I have a lot of units, but I presumably need to make sure I have a lot of units when that comes around.
Yes.
That's not going to be particularly useful.
Exactly. You have 2 big win cons, and the one thing that I'm worried about as a player going against Viktor is that as soon as you get to 6, I'm in trouble. And so because you have Thousand Tail Watcher, which is going to be really good for you because it just minuses 3 on everything on my part, and you're able to just attack in really well with all of your units. Likewise, you also have Grand Stratagem, which is also going to be a really big one. You can highlight over the cards on the field as well. If you hit Alt, it goes ahead and blows them up so you can read them bigger. And then if you zoom in, or if you scroll up, it makes it bigger. If you scroll down, it makes it smaller.
Oh, gosh. The things you know. Amazing.
So that'll really help you out as we continue to play. So those are basically your 2 win cons here, is that if I get to 6, I can play either the Thousand Tail Watcher and overwhelm you, or I can play Grand Stratagem and immediately on the next turn go from 6 to 8 and win.
So I guess I'm trying to imagine what this looks like in terms of like rhythm of the deck, because I guess one version of this could be I just, barf out my hand constantly, and I'm constantly throwing it onto the battlefields, and that's just how the deck functions. I just hope that the cards I draw are in the right kind of order at the right time for my deck to work. And if they aren't, I guess I just lose.
Yeah, and so with that as well, let's go ahead. On top, you do have a couple of nice, because one thing that your deck might be struggling with, for example, would be maintaining cards in hand. And so one of the things that will really help you with that will be like Hidden Blade, for example. If you choose to hide it on one of the battlefields that you have occupied, then if I go ahead and attack in, what you'll normally do is target one of your units with the Hidden Blade, and then immediately draw 2 cards off of that. And so one of like the...
Yes.
Let's see. And so, yeah, that can just really help maintain card draw and things of that nature with you. So, yeah.
Okay. So what I was meaning with this sort of, I guess, I don't know if cadence is the right word, but like, because I'm assuming that what I said is incorrect, that I'm not supposed to just be like, because like you said, I've got a good early push, which presumably I'll get maybe a couple points early, but my kind of way of attacking is to presumably build up enough critical mass to overwhelm a battlefield. But it will be, I don't feel like I'm probably going to be holding a lot of battlefields because my units are kind of crap.
Yeah, it's gonna be a take and take back kind of thing, and you're definitely on the aggro side, and so you're gonna have answers as we go throughout the game. And yeah, like I said, your big goal is to ensure that you can at least get to 6, because once you do, the game is over. And so yeah, but it is a little bit of a juggle, because you can potentially struggle if there are bigger units on my side. Especially as we get to mid to late game, Viktor can kind of start to lose steam and really struggle. And that's why, especially getting to 8 on your runes is so vital, so that you can play something like Thousand Tail Watcher Accelerated and take back those battlefields. Even trying to get to 6 in that point, that can be a really great play to get you back into the game.
Yeah, because when I played it before, I found like I did run out of steam very hard later on. In that, like, yeah, the ability to put a 1 strength mook out, just it felt like it became less and less and less relevant beyond the mid game.
Yeah, yep. So, and that's kind of the juggle that you have to get, and that's where Viktor can kind of fall short there.
Okay, so how about your deck then? So.
Yep, so Annie has a really great legend ability where at the end of my turn, I ready 2 runes. She is basically the worst Kaisa. So she has a lot of spells to help control the board state and things of that nature. And then we'll go ahead and move units around to try to maintain gaining a lot of points and clearing out the threats as they come. If you go ahead and right-click and search through my deck if you care. I have things that can go really fast. For example, like Kaisa can come in accelerated. And then when I conquer, I draw a card. Darius, when I play a second card this turn, give it +2 might and ready him up. And then even things like Fight or Flight, where I can move a unit from a battlefield to its base. And even things like Ride the Wind, which can move a friendly unit and ready it. So just a lot of really fun shenanigans to get things moving here.
Okay, so yeah, there's a lot of unpredictability there.
Yep, and so the hardest part with Annie, though, is she, again, doesn't necessarily have... We've added a bunch of cards to maybe try to get a lot of card draw and a lot of options, but Annie doesn't necessarily have a ton of consistency, at least. And so when Annie hits, we can run. But if Annie doesn't necessarily have the best start, then there can be a pretty big struggle for the rest of the game.
Oh yeah, I mean, looking at I don't think this is necessarily your deck specifically, but at least the top 64 Annie deck, like, yeah, the high end is 5.
Yeah. Exactly. And so that's the thing. And we have a few in here, for example, that are a little bit higher. Now we have this guy, Rasha the Sunderer, but his ability is he costs 1 less for each card in my trash. So if I have 10 cards, I recycle 1 and I have a 6 mine out. But otherwise, yes, everything else is incredibly small. So.
Okay, cool. Well, let's give it a try next.
All right. So if you want to go ahead, and I will click to determine turn order, or if you want to just go second, either way. Or I guess pick a battlefield first.
Yes, so let's see. Whoop, whoop, whoop. So let's see.
So if you're going second, Obelisk of Power would be the one you don't want to pick. Arena's Greatest would start you with 1 bonus point, but it would start 1 with me as well. Probably Trifarian War Camp would be the best one for you to start game 1 with.
Yeah, so Trifarian War Camp feels like if I can control that, then it's going to make life just generally harder for you, because each one of my units is going to be a little bit harder.
Yeah, exactly, because you make a ton of 1-drops, and so if all of your 1-drops become 2-drops, and you put 4 of those in, cool. You know, that is going to be so much harder for me to overcome in that case. Because a lot of the times your opponents are going to be having 1, maybe 2 units to be able to utilize, and you have like 5. So it's like, cool, I'll use the War Camp and I can just overwhelm.
All right, cool. So let's...
Yep. And then after that, highlight over your deck and hit 4. So that will draw you 4 cards.
Okay, let's see. So, yeah, I've got 2 cards that I'm okay with, 2 cards that I'm not.
Okay, so go ahead and hit F over the one you want to take away, and then drag it to over here with the hand and put it in that box, and then hit the recycle when you are ready.
Oh, interesting.
And it puts it automatically on the bottom. And then hit 2. And it would add 2 cards to your hand. And then I think we are good to start. And then, yep, again, any questions, concerns, or anything that you might have, always feel free to ask. We're here for a good time, not a long time. So, alrighty. Good to go?
I've always wanted opportunities to use that phrase. I'm glad to hear that which is really makes sense. Feel like, you just want to use it as well. And I respect that.
No, appreciate that. Here we go. So, and if you go ahead and hit the ready button when it's your turn, not of mine, it will draw you a card and put out 2 runes for you. So, automatically. And so...
I'll do an extra one for myself.
Exactly. So, I'll go ahead and play the Pouty Poro.
What a great piece of art, honestly, though.
Yeah. That's the biggest thing. I love that. And then let's go ahead and pass it over to you. So you'll go ahead and hit your blue ready. And then take 1 and put it right there. And hit F. Yep. Okay.
All right, cool.
The turn is yours.
So I think I'm going to have myself a fairly standard first turn. So, hoop and a hoop. So I play out the Rambling Student.
Yep.
And I'm going to make myself...
So, and they will come
yes.
tapped in this case. Yep, exactly. No worries. And yep.
So this looks like a very, very standard.
Yep, that's a great hand, especially with Student in hand. Any spell that you play pumps it up for 1 until the end of turn. Really great card. So, yeah. And then at the top, you'll see like past turn or something like that on your, right below your game bar.
Oh,
or let's see. Okay, there we go. I got it now. Now we'll see your name at the top when I pass. Okay, here we go. So I'll go ahead and hit ready and draw a card with that. I think what we'll do is, let's try to move into here. Normally we would ask for a response here. But you are tapped out. But still priority does pass, so you do at least get a chance to say. Let's then let's go 1 to go ahead and play stack deck. So I look at the top 3 cards in my main deck and put 1 into my hand and recycle the rest. So we go 1, 2, 3, and looky. Oh, okay, tricky. Yeah, I think we will go ahead and add that to hand and then put the rest on the bottom and recycle.
That's a very good technical solution for the recycling. I like it a lot.
Yeah, no, Willow did an absolutely great job designing this. Yeah, and so that's the big thing. I don't think I necessarily have anything else for turn, so I will pass to Counterfeit.
Yes, now I'm seeing the thing. Cool. So ready, everything. So let me talk through my thinking here, because this is where I think I kind of get a lot of most of the value out of playing here, is just being able to see if what I'm thinking is correct. So we know that Trifarian Warcamp is going to be a priority for me to control. So you putting in the Party Power, I find that interesting, because that suggests, because I know that you've got like you got your effects giving you more runes up, so you're sort of presenting like you're sort of challenging me to be, I know you want to control this, I'm going to directly face you off against it, and I've got something that's going to make that a reasonable thing to try. Because you knew what I had as well, so because I've got 2 units, and when they both go to the war camp, that's even better for me. So if I have a spell of any kind for Ravenbloom Student, that's going to mean that face to face those two will, like, I'll win out that one, and you'll maybe only kill a recruit. So that whole thing doesn't seem like a great thing. The only way this really makes sense is if you're planning on killing the Ravenbloom Student with a spell, like a damage spell, like a 3 damage spell, so that my recruit will not be strong enough to deal with the horror.
Yep, exactly. And so, or even something else more sinister. The mystery is there. Oh, if you only saw my hand.
So I've got a couple of options here, which is quite interesting. So I could, if we work an assumption, we're kind of sort of mentally deleting what's each person's, or at least what I'm saying out loud here, for gameplay purposes. So I could go for Sprite Mother, which is like, it actually seems like quite a reasonable option here, because I've got the 3 Sprite unit, which will force you to use a spell to kill it, and would hopefully draw out your only spell response. Then I could just move it in. No, that doesn't make sense, actually. I would be trading off half a Sprite Mother, and then the Ravenbloom Student would only go even with your guy. So I don't like that idea. No, that's still... You thought it through. No, that's still... I think what I have got in my hand is a combat trick. No, that's still... So I think... No, that's still... This is what I'm going to do. I'm going to go for a simultaneous attack.
Okay.
Into... Oops. Into here. I think this makes sense. We'll find out if it does in a second.
Okay, so... and your units have motion sick. I think that's -1 might after that.
It's certainly -1 to wait.
And so, okay, so now you have 5 untapped, and so I'm like, okay, so I know that you probably don't have Coal of the Week, otherwise you would have used that before combat. You could use a response here to get things moving, so I think in this case, I will go ahead, tap 1, and play a Gust targeting Ravenbloom Student, and this will return a unit to a battlefield with 3 might or less to its owner's hand.
Cool. That makes sense.
And so you still do get a chance to respond to this, so if you do have something in hand and whatnot, you do have the chance to add it to the stack, essentially.
So yeah, this is interesting, because that was a very cheap spell. I didn't even realize that the deck was running spell. I didn't realize that Gust as a spell was that cheap.
Okay.
So it's possible you've got another spell which you could use at this point as well.
Okay.
In fact, it almost seems likely. So I could use Smokescreen will let me to kill your unit. Because I'm going to lose my token anyway.
Now, and yeah, that's the thing. So that would become a trade then. Yeah, because Ravenbloom student would go back to hand. You'd -4. Or let me see, because that's an actually interesting point. Because Trifarian War Camp gives units here +1 might. And I believe since that is already added, Ravenbloom's or Smokescreen would still add -4 to a minimum of 1, which would make my Poro be at 1 and your recruit still be at 2.
I would assume that would be how it works.
So, and I think that's correct. I think I played that yesterday, and I'm pretty sure that's how it works.
It will be weird to mean that, the bonus would reassert itself.
It's not on top. It's already determined. And so, therefore, Smokescreen would affect the Trifarian War Camp, and minus any buff that battlefield would give. So I think we're good.
Yeah. All right, I'm going to give that a try. So that's 2 and
a recycle. So what you're going to do? So the one that you actually recycle can be the one that you tap.
Oh, yes, that's what I was doing.
Yep. And so, yeah, you tapped 3 and recycled one of the 3, but Smokescreen is only 2. So, yep.
Oh, right. Sorry, yeah.
No problem.
Sorry, I'm with you now. Yeah.
Yeah, no worries. We're here to learn. So, yep, exactly. So, Smokescreen is now activated, and so now I am 1 to... Okay, so any other things to add to the stack for you?
Nope, that's it for me.
Okay. Then I think I'll go ahead and do another gust targeting the recruit.
Okay, so that's going to functionally kill it, I'm assuming.
Yep, so that'll kill it in this case. Ravenbloom student is going to be going up to 3 because of the Smokescreen that you played, but Gust will still come into effect and put it back into your hand.
If the Ravenbloom had got up to 4, would the Gust have fizzled?
Yep, exactly, and you would take the battlefield. So if you have one more spell in hand potentially and you want to sack that or, potentially use it, then you're able to.
I don't, but that's
okay. But yeah, that's one way to get over Gust.
Okay, so in that case, I've got a couple of small units that I can put here. I think.
Yep.
I'm going to put back the Rainbow student because this means I'm not giving away any extra information. And tap.
Yep, exactly. And that's why Viktor is so good. I already dealt with your board and you got it right back, so...
Yes, you've gone down 2 cards to gain a point, which is probably... Well, I mean, I've gone down 1 card, so I guess relatively you've traded a card for a point, which is probably roughly on par.
Yeah, exactly. So, yep, and then if that is your turn, go ahead and hit the top bar that has your name on it, and that'll pass turn to me. Okay, so we will ready up and go from here. Let's go ahead and do 1, 2, or gain a point for holding. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Recycling 1 to get Kaisa in accelerated. So if I pay 1 extra and recycle a Fury rune, it can come in ready, and then when I conquer, draw a card. So with you being tapped out, I'm just going to move Kaisa over here. I don't think you have a response to that. So I'll go up to 3. I will draw a card. And dare I move the Poro back because he a dead man if I probably keep him there. Then again, how many cards? You have 4 cards in hand. Yeah, he probably is dead. So I will actually go ahead and pull him back. And yeah, call it good there and pass it over to you.
All right, nice. Boop, 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 boop. So this feels like it's quite an important moment. So just taking into account the war camp, it seems like moving the... Let's see, because your guy doesn't have... so Kaiser doesn't have ganking or anything. So if I move my my student and my token are onto the war camp. I've got myself a pretty solid base there. But the kind of worst that could happen is the Pharaoh comes in and trades.
Okay.
Or, I guess conceivably you blow up the Raven Bloom and then take out my counter. But I can't directly deal with Kaiser straight away. Unless... Oh, did you untap your 2?
Oh, whoops. Nope, I keep forgetting that. All right, so yep, so I have 3 runes to work with, essentially. And 4 cards in here. Just enough to be scary.
I mean, I could try and go after your Kaiser, but it doesn't feel great in that I'm going to have to commit in a card's worth of something to try and go after her. And because my sort of attack is made up of lots of little individual pieces rather than one big unit, it's going to be much easier for you to just, like, remove one piece of that, and then my entire attack goes...
Mm-hmm. Yep. And so that is the risk and reward.
So I've got a couple of Sprite Mothers. I could try and be a little spicy and try and just, like, throw... Because with the Sprite Mother, I could use what I've got currently and the spawn token to put in 6 power, and then if most likely you could probably only get rid of 2 of that power, and it would still trade, but I would be wiping out a lot of my own resources.
Yep. And so, like I said, a little bit of a juggle here.
I suppose my other option is to this turn is to bring out my Viktor. So that my Viktor leader.
Yep.
And that way I've got some insurance that as and when my Raven Bloom student gets nailed, that I've at least got some sort of resources building up.
Yeah, exactly. You're going to be at least replacing it, if anything. So you can do Viktor this turn and also creating a token as well with the legend ability. Which would be pretty viable as well, and then holding the war camp. Now, what you also could do potentially is go ahead and put the Raven Bloom student and your unit into the battlefield. Go ahead and play Viktor back to base and create another unit token and add it to the war camp. That way you have 3 units there, and each of the one might go up to 2. So that could be a very viable solution for you as well.
Yes, you're right, actually. Well, I think I'll do a variation on that idea because I think that's generally a good idea. So I'll do both of these.
Okay. And I have no response to that.
Cool. I will pay the 4 for Viktor leader. And then also in terms of, I was trying to understand priority and things. Do you mind just, like, illuminating that for me briefly? Is it when I play something before I go on to play the next thing, you get a response? Is that, like, a reasonable shorthand for it?
No, not necessarily. It's only in showdowns, for example. So when you took this battlefield, the war camp, I could have responded with, like, a Hex Tech Ray or something that has those, that has a action or reaction in this case. And so... but not having any. So if you played Viktor out, there are no cards necessarily that would be able to even react to that. So it would only be if you took something.
So in this case, does that make sense would it make more sense for Viktor to be going out to the war camp versus putting him back in base? Because like his passive effect is very useful, but he's also a relatively high strength unit in of himself as well.
He is a high-strength unit, but the reason why you might not want to do that is especially going against Red. Red has a lot of spells that deal damage via battlefield, but not dealing damage via base. The only one that does damage base-wise is going to be Falling Star. Otherwise, Void Seeker is a card that I could potentially have in my hand that deals 4 to a unit at a battlefield.
Oh, and it also draws you a card as well. Okay, so you're quite happy to use that as like a card.
And it's like, cool, I took out the threat that was going to be potentially making you a lot more tokens and keeping you in this game. And I also get to draw a card on top of that. So it's like, so,
Okay.
but yeah.
So, yes, I'll do. In that case, I will go forward with the plan as planned.
Okay.
And make another buddy over here.
And then with the Victor leader on play, just be sure to recycle the rune as well with play.
That's right. Yes, I forgot.
Yep. No problem. So.
Cool. So I've got 1 mana left open. Who knows what I've got ready to use? And I'll pass back across to you.
All right.
Score my first point.
Nice. So it is currently 3-1. The fun is coming. Okay, so with the Trifarian War Camp, you have 2, 4, 7, essentially, that is going to be there. So that is just scary enough to be a threat. You also have 5 cards in hand, which is pretty dang good. So for me to be able to deal with that, I gain 1 for holding. Don't forget with the Kaisa, I keep forgetting that. And so with that, that is still a pretty big wall that you have built up. I do think I have a few responses, so I'll go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, recycling a Fury to go ahead and play Darius. Then I think I will go tap for 1 to play Cleave, targeting Darius. What Cleave is going to be doing is giving him Assault +3, which gives him 3+ might when he's attacking. Then Darius is going to activate his ability that when I play a second card on this turn, give me +2 might and ready him. So in total, with Cleave being played, he is going to go up to 10.
Ooh.
And then I will go ahead and move that 10 might over to the War Camp.
Yes, that's a wow. Yeah, that is a pretty huge swing.
And then with War Camp, that'll increase him to 11.
Oh yes, I should probably be doing that as well, shouldn't I? With the making it clear that the.
Oh, actually, I realized we made a mistake. Actually, turn 1. Ravenbloom Student actually would have survived the Gust because of Trifarian War Camp. We didn't add the +1. So when you played Smokescreen, yeah. So when you played Smokescreen, it was at 4. So.
Oh, well, it's fine when we did.
Yeah. No, but that's a good thing to keep in mind for future for us. But yeah, okay. So if I win this game, you can hold that over me, and yeah.
Thank you for giving me an out in advance.
So okay, so yeah, we have.
I'm gonna get pretty clobbered here because my deck doesn't really have the 1 cost. I think it has one cost spell, which would be not especially useful.
Yeah, Stupefy, which at least would draw you a card, but yeah, not necessarily great here.
Okay, cool. So all of my stuff is going to get trashed. So delete. I might as well just move this guy across here.
Exactly.
Represents that, and then in the bin for you. So that's pretty bad. I'm trying to think here, on a scale of 1 to complete disaster, how close am I to complete disaster at this point?
Because that's going to be the thing. Depending on what you have in hand, the big thing now is that you are going to be going from 5 to 7, which can be manageable. Depends on what you have in hand, because next turn I am going to be going up to 7. That's
I need to at least be getting rid of one of these.
Yes, and so if you can get rid of one, it might be salvageable, especially if you have something like a Thousand Tail Watcher. That. On not this turn, but the following turn, you'd be able to play Accelerated and be able to take both. And that could be very difficult then for me to take back. And so, but yeah, it is quickly losing ground in this case.
Okay. So have you got anything else going on in your turn?
Yeah, so I will go ahead and ready to and pass it over to you.
So with the Party Power, you wouldn't want to stick that onto the War Camp or anything?
I could have, yeah. In this case, though, I'm not going to. But I could have. I definitely could have.
Right. So let's see. So to an extent, I think I've at this point got to just sort of make use of what I've got on the field right now, because unless I use a unit that's functionally got accelerate, because otherwise I'm just going to fall too far behind and lose.
Yeah, exactly.
So let's see. Kaiser is... I mean, Kaiser is bad, but she's kind of more long-term bad because, you can get cards from her, but it's going to take a while before that happens.
Yeah.
Darius, I can imagine you could quite easily, because of his sort of ready himself effect, presumably you could bring him back to base and then go and charge over to another base again, or charge back to the same thing again quite quickly. So between those two, I think Darius feels like he's the one I need to deal with right away.
Yeah, especially the 4 might, because Darius, if I play 2 cards again, he goes right up to 7 and is readied up. So I can move him back to base, play 2 cards, ready him up, attack right back in with 7 might.
Yeah, so I mean that's going to be it for me if that happens, pretty much. Okay, so my broad 2 options are, I've got a couple of Sprite Mothers, so I could use them to create a couple of emergency responders and just barf stuff all over the battlefield. I think I'm trying to think if I want to do that, and I think I'd want to do that in 1 big attack rather than 2 smaller attacks, so that even if you removed one of my units, which is, I'm assuming that you can remove any one of my units in that equation, Darius still dies. Though I may not hold the battlefield after that point, but I think I don't really have the capability of doing too much else. So I think that's what I'll do. Oh wait, these things cost 4. Well, that's going to make life harder. Okay. That's a lot worse suddenly. So my guys would be with the +1. So you're currently 6. You don't think you'd be able to play 2 cards to make him up to 8. If you do, I guess I'll just lose. So I'll assume that you're not going to do that.
Okay.
So my guys would be a total of 6 by themselves. But if you remove Viktor, then I would lose my token as well. So that's going to happen as it is anyway. I could use Grand Stratagem will let me at least make my token big enough to kill yours, but it would die as well, and got a lot of great options here.
And Grand Stratagem also recycles 3, which can really slow you down in that case too. But the trade with the token, you can always make another, well, yeah, because Grand Stratagem, you can make another token, but still, that is tough. Because you would have 1 left over, so you could make the token after replacing it. And you could take both battlefields with taking down Kaisa as well, potentially.
You mean play Grand Stratagem before I attack?
And trade in with the Darius with the token, the unit, and then attacking in with Viktor to Kaisa, and just being able to overwhelm 9-4.
That seems like I hadn't really thought of doing it that way. Actually, I was only thinking of it as a reaction, but that seems like that might be the most viable choice I have.
So
it leaves me in a crap position, but it doesn't mean I lose immediately.
Yeah. So the hard part was in this game, you kind of missed a lot of the things that make you the units. The Vanguard Captain and things of that nature. So unfortunately, you weren't able to necessarily build a momentum.
No, I think you were able to take a lot of the field before I really got started.
Yeah.
But I mean, I think that seems like the best of a bunch of bad options. So let's do that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then recycle 2. Boop, boop, for Grand Stratagem.
So, and Grand Stratagem is a recycle of 3.
Oh, it's recycle 3.
Yes. So, and it is 3. So you see the yellow on it. So it would be 3 order runes in this case. So go ahead and we'll just take those back and go. There you go. Okay, perfect. Yep.
I can only apologize for my ancestors and my ancestors' ancestors. They are very shamed.
No worries. Like we said, we're here to learn. So mistakes are made. That is perfectly fine.
Right. So, I mean, I guess my biggest swing option here is to put Viktor into Darius and the token into Kaiser and just hope you don't have anything relevant.
Yeah, essentially.
I mean, maybe that's the right thing to do because, like, I feel like I'm pretty boned here anyway, so I need to get lucky to even have a chance of getting back into the game. So, you know what? I'm going to take that big swing, even if it's not the most sensible swing, and just try and go for broke here. So, first of all, this recruit over to here.
Okay.
See if you want to blow it up or not.
I'll go ahead and activate Reaver's Row. When you defend here, you may move a friendly unit from here to base. So I'll just pull Kaisa back and give you a point, I think.
Cool. I forgot that was a thing. I should have read the battlefield again. No, I don't do anything about that. And, all right, so here's the big one, though.
Okay.
Will you just instantly kill Viktor?
I won't kill Viktor. Let's see. Let's go ahead and go 2 to then go ahead do fight or flight to move Viktor back to base.
Wonderful. So you've managed to mostly negate what I was doing. Not completely, but enough to the point where
Yeah.
I haven't really accomplished a huge amount more than what I came in with. Okay, in that case, I'm gonna 2 for a daring power and say, this doesn't seem like the kind of card I should be playing at this point in the game, but hey, what can you do? Huh?
Yep, and you could play that in Reaver's Row if you so chose. But that would make it
like it's super.
Yeah, that would make it 3 for you, but yeah. So, but yep.
I mean, I'm just gonna go run over by Kaiser anyways.
Yeah, that's the hard part. So, okay.
I think this game is done, but we can replay a few more chances to speak, so it's 100% the case.
Yeah. So, okay. Go ahead and pass if that is your.
Oh, yes, sorry.
No words. And I will ready and draw. Let's go ahead and gain 1 for a hold. Darius, I will go ahead and pull back. I think I will then go ahead and just go 1, 2 to fight or flight your recruit back to base.
That's interesting. Why would you bother with that?
Yeah, it's a mistake for sure. But that's okay. So I want to go ahead and then move Kaisa and the Poro in. Any response?
I mean, I don't know if I can emote in this game, but if I was, it was not a good emote. Let's put it that way.
Yep, no worries. And then, yeah, let's go ahead and go 2 to play the Noxus Hopeful. That'll go ahead and he can be played for 2 since it is a second card that I played for turn. Darius will ready up, get +2. I will go ahead then and move him into here. And then in my turn.
Why wouldn't you move him onto the other battlefield and win?
Because I already controlled that, or actually, I already controlled that battlefield for turn, so I went to 0.6 with that and have already scored on it. And so I can only go to 7 this turn, but if you are unable to take this battlefield, then I will win the game.
Okay, right. Yes, that makes sense. All right. So let's ready to see if anything relevant is there. Okay. So I've got 6. You have got a lot. Let's see. All right. Well. Okay, I think I can at least make an attempt at this.
Okay.
So I'll play out Sprite's Mother.
Okay.
I'll recycle this one. Spawn it in the token. Then I'm going to throw everything onto this battlefield.
Okay, so let's see. That's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So I'm still over.
My next move.
Does he have?
When we go to the battlefield things, I presume if I want to play a card like before the battle happens, I need to be the one to do it before sort of passing back to you. And if you then pass, we would just continue with no cards played. I can't sort of beat you out by saying nothing and then.
Yeah. So if you
respond.
In this case, for example, if you had Smokescreen in hand, for example, you would want to play that before passing priority, just so that you could -4 in this case and get that going.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. Like, that does align with my experience with other card games.
Yep. So, because otherwise,
recycle.
yeah, because if you passed priority and just was like, and then I didn't have any response, nothing could be played at that point. Okay, perfect. So there's a Hidden Blade, and what is your target?
Is there a good way to, on TableTop Simulator, sort of indicate this one?
I wish. I know there is a thing to do reaction or to point to, but I don't remember what it is. So,
all right, well, it will be a Darius.
Okay, sounds good. Let's see. So with Darius being determined as target, I think in this case, oh yeah, that's it. I think I'll go to go flash, to go ahead and move up to 2 friendly units to base. I think at this point I will go Kaisa and Darius selected. And then Hidden Blade would fizzle since Darius is no longer in the battlefield.
Sure.
With that, though, it is now 6 to way more than that. And so in reaction, when I defend here, I can move a friendly unit from here to base. I'll take that back. Poro, I guess, will deal 2 damage and take out your recruit.
You know.
Yep. And then yep, you score a point off of that.
Okay, that's all for me because I've really had to throw everything in the kitchen sink just not to lose this time. So it's you.
All right. So
which I don't lose immediately.
Yep. So let's go cleave on Darius to add +3. We'll send. Actually, before we send in, I'll have Kaisa go ahead and conquer here. I do not go ahead and gain the final point to win, but I get to draw a card since I'm at 7. And then I can draw one for Kaisa's conquer. And then with everything else, I think I will move in for 12 to your 9.
Yes, I ain't got shit.
Yep. And so, yep, that will then be point number 8.
That was a brutal game. So, I guess, yeah, I'm trying to think of how different the game would have been. I think it would have gone a bit better for me if I'd maintained that initial control. I think it would have maybe played out a bit more as I suspect it's sort of supposed to.
Yeah. And that's
I don't think it would have ultimately changed the result.
so the hard part was, yeah, you kind of missed your mid game there, unfortunately, because a lot of your because like we said, in your deck you have a lot of tokens here. So yeah, go ahead and whoop. There we go. Perfect. And okay. And then don't forget about the 3 cards in your hand as well. I do that all the time.
Oh yes.
And that's kind of the biggest thing too, is yeah, you kind of missed, well, and you missed out on a lot of your removal, because like, especially in the early game, when I only had the Poro out, if you would have had Cold the Weak, then you would have lost one of your tokens, but you would have taken out immediately my unit in the battlefield, just because I had nothing else out on the field. And so it's like, yeah, it was just kind of a miss on the Viktor part. For all the cards you had in hand, you didn't necessarily have a lot of answers. So
No, I think I got a lot of my later stuff early.
okay.
The sprite. I did see people talking about how Sprite Mother was being less well regarded. It did seem useful, but I suppose because Sprite Mother's token is still considered to be a unit for the purposes of the leader effect. I suppose that's still a very good combo.
Yeah, it still is. But yeah, the hard part is it's, especially late game, it's making less of an impact, which can be a little bit of an issue. But where you played it was able to do a lot with that. So
There.
So yep.
Should be able to play another game.
Yeah, definitely. And then if you wanted to actually go first this game, you could play Obelisk of Power, so that you could start with a 2-drop and a unit created.
Yes, that seems pretty good.
And that is pretty good. I think we will go. So the Zon Warrens, when you conquer here, discard 1, then draw 1. But keep in mind, it is discard 1 first before you draw. So, yep.
Yes.
So then go ahead and let's do our mulligans. So let's see.
Thanks to your expert tutelage, I'm becoming much more au fait with how this all works.
Yeah, so I think, unfortunately, maybe fortunately, unfortunately, it's not a great hand, not a bad hand. I'll keep.
Okay, cool. So I will.
Yep, you can still hit the ready and it'll add the card and add 2. So nothing wrong with that there.
Whoops. Yes, you got the extra one because of the obelisk.
Yep.
Cool. So tap tap.
Nice.
It's a bub. It's a plane. And hooray for a very standard opening time.
So yeah, that's going to be really good for you, especially being able to take 2. Okay, and then I go ahead and get 2 more because of obelisk and my turn 2. I think at this point we'll go 2 and recycle 1 to play Vi tapped, and go ahead and I think, yeah, pass it back to you.
Alrighty. So yes, I see what you mean. That yes, so now I can go and bunker for 1.
Yep.
Bunker for 2. Whoop, 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 whoop.
Yep.
That bird's got dizzy.
So, and now the battlefield effect would activate. So you discard 1 and draw 1.
So here's a question for you. So I've got Thousand Tail Watcher in my hand. I know it's not immediately useful, but given that I've only got 1 of them in my deck, I'm also hesitating on whether I should discard it, knowing how strong it will be later on.
Yeah, and that's going to be kind of, the tough part. And so, but it also is going to be, well, I mean, you're already at 5 as well. So if you're not going to be necessarily recycling a whole lot, not too bad. But if you had something like Soaring Scout potentially in hand or something like that, that'd be an easy discard to make as well. But yeah, that's the tough part.
I've got. I think I'll toss this one
and draw one.
Because I think, binning Thousand Tail Watcher also removes you'll need to ever play around it as well.
Yeah, exactly. And you have 2 or 3 in your deck. I don't know how many you actually have, but that's pretty standard to probably run 2 or 3. And so if you put one into the discard yet, then you're relying on one in the rest of your 32 card deck. And so it's like, especially when you're potentially one turn away.
Yeah, well, this deck only runs one, so it would be literally saying I don't have this option anymore. Okay, so in that case, I'm going to go, do I want to... So, yes, there's choices. So I know that you'll probably want to... You're almost certainly going to go for Zorn Warriors. That's going to let you, activate Vi further.
Mm-hmm.
So I could go Victor Leader to just guarantee myself a free token as well as a free rune for just playing the burb in the first place, and position myself to come back at Vi with something that might be a little too strong for her to handle now at this point where you don't have a big discard pile.
Yeah, exactly. And so that's going to be the big thing is, I don't have any discard whatsoever. And if you went ahead and did the Victor, then if you did end up losing Soaring Scout the very next turn, you're going to be at 8 because it channels a rune, and you could play the Thousand Tail Watcher and immediately take back both battlefields if you needed to.
Yeah,
so,
I like that idea. That feels right in terms of what I should be doing. That I'm at least taking the initiative here and kind of forcing you to not play to the rhythm that you would want to be playing to necessarily.
Yeah, exactly. So,
okay, and he is recycling one of these. Whoop.
Yep, exactly.
I remember this time.
So, yep, perfect. All right, so that's a little scary, kind of intimidating. Let's go ahead.
Yes, I suppose the bonus here as well is not just that I can't go to battlefields, but that likely you're not going to be able to stop me from getting a third point from go attack.
Let's go ahead. This is not necessarily looking great for me. Let's go ahead and move by into here. Any responses?
Not at this juncture.
Okay, so I will go ahead and conquer that. Soaring Scout will activate, so you'll be able to channel a rune Exhausted. So nice. Okay, so I am on the board. With that...
And I also... That Victor had a son.
Oh, yeah, that is true. Yeah. Hate doing that is the tough part. Let's go 1-2. Let's play a Tide Turner here. Let's go ahead and recycle one to go ahead and play a hidden card here. And...
Oh, that Tide Turner is quite fun.
Yeah, so it is really fun. And it can be played as a hidden card, so that's always pretty fun. All right, so with that being said, I think that will be my turn.
So if I'm playing against your deck, what I'm reasonably expecting, like in terms of hidden cards, they're all like relatively cheap cards, aren't they?
Yeah, and so, but there's not necessarily too much that I might be able to have as hidden cards. The only one that could potentially be, I mean, there's of course cards on top of that, but the biggest one is Fight or Flight can be hidden, or the Tide Turner.
Right, yes. So Yeah, the fight or flight would seem to make sense because because Vi is conceivably a long-term investment for you.
Yep.
I mean, I know that you're also going to have extra cards, so I guess so as it comes back to my turn, and I
And then gain a point for holding. Exactly. Perfect.
So my big choice here is, so I'm gonna lose the other battlefield as of this turn anyway, so I can bring the recruit back because it's not going to really serve a purpose otherwise. Is whether or not I go forward and challenge your Vi face to face and think, can I actually just win out there anyway?
Yeah.
That feels like a sort of game-changing decision where it's like either
We'll be done here in about like 20 minutes.
Or I can't. I'm
gonna go for a run. Okay, have fun. Yeah, that's the scary part. And so, yep, again, decisions. Okay, cool. Well,
let's work this out. So if your hidden thing is like
yes, have a good run.
It's probably the most likely one. Then if I just sort of shove Viktor in, then you will presumably, you'll fight or flight him back into base. Really no harm, no foul, really.
Yeah, exactly.
Vi will go up to 4, but that's going to...
Well, and Vi
to consume.
Vi cannot activate her ability on your turn. So I can only recycle 1 from my trash on my turn to be able to pump her up.
Oh, I did not understand that. Okay.
Yep, which is different than how it would be in Magic the Gathering, for example, where it might be something that I could activate on your turn. But for Riftbound, you cannot activate on opponent's turn.
So if that was an action, would that still be applicable?
Yes, it would be, because as soon as Showdown occurred, I could activate it as an action and pump up Vi with the cards in my discard.
Gosh, okay, well, I mean, that's already been a hugely important learning experience for them, because I would have 100% been like, oh, of course they can make it bigger, because, like, I'm actually kind of surprised they don't keyword the non-action abilities as its own thing.
Yeah.
Because that feels like such an important distinction.
Yep, and so that's also sometimes the confusion that especially newcomers to the game might have. It's, the power cost on recycling might be a little bit confusing, especially with the universal rainbow recycling symbol, or just like actions and reactions and things like this on units. And so, yeah, can sometimes be a little confusing in that case.
Okay, so in that case, it feels like I am probably... Yeah, if we see Fight or Flight, since I've, seen it from the previous game, and I know that it's a common spell for your deck, I'm going to work on the assumption that it will be the case.
Okay.
Yeah, it doesn't seem to be too bad if I just let that happen to Viktor. I could try and kill Vi if I really wanted to, but I suppose my advantage at this point is I am ahead on points overall, so I don't need to... Do I want to trade aggressively? Maybe I do. Okay, actually, yeah. Let's try this idea. So, to lay out my thinking before I do it is, what I'm going to do is I'm going with Viktor first of all to draw out what I assume is your fight or flight. Because he's stronger than you, so you're going to have to do something. And, if you do damage to him and kill him, sure. I haven't got anything he could recycle anyway. And then I'm going to use my recruit with a combat trick to see if I can snipe Vi at that point. I mean, you've still got your open mana, so this could go a little poorly, but I think I'm currently putting you under pressure as a player, so I'd like to keep doing that if I can.
Okay.
I'm going to throw in Viktor by his lonesome.
Okay. With that, I think I will go 1, 2, 3. Recycling 1 to go Void Seeker, targeting Viktor to deal 4 damage.
Okay. I forgot that was a thing. Okay. That is fine.
Okay, and then I will draw a card off of Void Seeker. Okay.
So, yeah, so that sort of put my sequencing off for what it would have been otherwise.
But it was such a great monologue.
Well, thank you.
Yes.
Honestly, I was thinking that would be a fun game mode to have it where people played, where each of the players, like, verbally to the stream,
Yeah.
explain their thinking as they are taking their turn.
Yeah.
And then it would switch over and we'd hear the other person, so they would never hear each other. But I think that would actually be really fun.
That would be really cool. Yeah. That might be something that we could definitely try that in the future.
It would be, I think it would work well in the context of a show match.
Yeah, definitely. If we could get people like that, that'd be really cool to see inside the mind.
Okay, so in that case, I'm going to retreat my recruit because, of course. So now I've got to set myself up. So I could throw in the recruit. That would, like, I could use a combat trick to trade 1-for-1 where I recruit with your Vi, which would be good. I mean, you're probably going to kill it with fight or flight, but again, that would also get rid of your hidden card. So I'd be trading 1-for-1 there, which is, it's kind of okay.
So, and I am tapped out. There is nothing else for me.
Yeah, so it forces your hand a bit.
Yes.
You know what? This is going to be me sort of trying out stuff. I'm going to try that. I'm going to send in my recruit with 1, and then with my priority, I'm going to tap, recycle for a smoke screen to make you 1 as well.
Okay. I'll go ahead and activate Tide Turner. Basically, Tide Turner will switch with Tide Turner. But that'll put me at 3-1.
You scallywag.
Just enough to be threatening.
Okay. So the smoke screen still affects the Vi, right?
Yes. So it is at 1. So you still can take out the Vi with your token.
I'm okay with that, honestly.
Okay.
Cool. So I'll drop that.
Okay, so Vi goes to
this. I think, honestly, I'm pretty okay with that interaction. Like, again, like, I'm forcing you to use resources and forcing you to burn through surprises. So I think that's, I can live with that. And then I've actually got a pretty reasonable follow-up as well, which is tap, tap, tap for Noxian Drummer.
Ooh, okay. Nice.
Then tap, tap for Ravenbloom Student.
Nice, okay.
So I'm keeping up the pressure here and hopefully stopping you really getting, comfortable at all in the game.
Yep, exactly.
And that will, there we go.
Okay, so I will go ahead and go up to 2 for holding. Now that's going to be the scary part, is especially with the drummer creating a 1 unit on attack. That can really start to put me behind. I don't necessarily have great cards to be able to utilize here as well in this situation. So I think in this case, I'll go 1, 2, 3, 4, and then go ahead and play Annie out. Annie will then go ahead and add Void Seeker back to hand with her ability. See, this is an interesting conundrum. I think, especially with your units out onto the battlefield, I'll move Tide Turner back, but I will go over to this obelisk to at least be able to score another point with my other Tide Turner. But this is a little scary here. So then I guess, don't ready those. Ready 2 runes with Annie's ability and pass it back.
All right, nice. Let's see. So I know you've got, so Void Seeker costs 3, you have got 3, so I've got to deal with knowing that you can basically kill any one of my units at any given point. see, so you've got a 2 cost. So what I could do is.
Well, and this could also even be a great time to play the accelerated Thousand Tail. Potential. Well,
I was thinking about that. But you don't have a lot of stuff. Ideally, I'd want you to be more committed to the battlefields.
yeah, but it's not necessarily a horrible situation either, because I do only have 5 on my backfield, and so you really could get a lot of reinforcement here in general and go up from not only to 5 points, but next turn, if I don't respond, you'd be up to 7. And so that's kind of the mindset on going on, because that's a 7 might. Yes, you're only going to be taking out a tide turner in this case, but going up to 7 potentially and almost securing this game could be a big deal as well. Anyway, food for thought at least on that. Devil's advocate here.
It does trade well into what you've got going on, which is that your 4 damage spell plus your 2 strength doesn't kill Thousand Tail Watcher, or he gets in this case 1 strength. So that is something. My alternate option is I could take everything I've got and throw it onto the Obelisk of Power, because that whole situation there leaves you with a lot of difficulties in how to trade across without just using your card. Because in that case, if you kill either of my units, then I can still deal with you.
Yes, correct.
But the others, yes. Actually, the other stuff I've got going on, I think I might go for the Thousand Tails sort of variation to this, just because I realize I actually don't have that much else to use my mana for in my hand. So I could just. Is it better to just bully you by throwing this Thousand Tails into what you've got, and then knowing that all you can do is really just use your voice seeker to kill one of my units, which you could do, but I suppose you could do that anyway. All right, well, let's try it this way around. It's a shame to have come up with a plan and then not need to use that plan, but.
Well, no, but it's also like a good thing anyway, because it's like, it's different ways of thinking, and so finding those different pathways where, yeah, maybe a plan didn't work out or come to fruition as you would like, but still being able to have that as an option is good. So, but yeah, Thousand Tail Watcher. So go ahead and recycle 1 more because it's coming in accelerated. So you need to pay all 8 and accelerate 1 more Mind Rune in order to.
Right, this is literally the first time we accelerated anything.
Yeah, no problem. So,
right, cool.
And that makes it to where, yeah, you need to recycle 1 for the power cost and then 1 to accelerate it as well. Yep.
Yes, I think the way, again, like the way the runes are written in card effects definitely isn't clear enough. I think they should have like a circle behind them in the same way that the 1 has a circle behind it.
Yeah.
If they want that to be a readable thing as a cost.
Yeah, and that's the hard part.
Okay, so I'm going to try that. So I head in. So you've got 1, I've got 7. Maybe you can't gust me away, which is something.
Yeah, in this case, I would recommend also moving Ravenbloom Student in as well. Just because if I have a fight or flight in hand, Thousand Tail Watcher goes back to base and just nothing happens. Kind of thing. So, for example, like I do have a fight or flight in hand, and so Thousand Tail will just go right back to base, tapped, and you can't use it for the rest of the turn. Whereas if you did do Ravenbloom Student, then you at least definitely will take this. It'll be 2 to 1 because Tide Turner is down to 1. And even if I do Thousand Tail Watcher back, nothing necessarily will happen there in that case. So a little bit of insurance.
Would that not still remain the case even if I did the attack afterwards, though?
Oh, yeah, definitely could. But if I had another response with it as well after, it could be a little tricky. But let's go ahead and see then. Let's play it out, actually. Let's go let's go fight or flight. Let's move Thousand Tail Watcher back to base.
Okay, yes, so from here, you're still at 1 strength. So Yeah, let's get the Raven Bloom in.
Okay.
2-1.
Yeah. And so then I think I'll use my final one to gust Raven Bloom back to hand, I think.
Cool. And then I can... so I'll bring the Noxian Drummer, which I won't bother spawning its token because it's going to lose it anyway.
Yep.
At least.
And that will be... So you got it. And then... Yep. Perfect.
4. And I will go take the other battlefield. Get to 5.
Yep. And then go ahead and discard 1 card and draw a card.
Yes, so I've got 2 grand strategies. I think that's probably too many. So...
Oh, gosh. Yeah, you definitely have this game won then. But yeah, just...
It's looking relatively strong. So get that back. Okay. So this is something I'm noticing that it feels like you've got like a quite harsh divide between the early game and the late game in the deck, and it's quite possible to draw into the wrong element of that deck.
Yes, exactly.
Okay, so that's it for me. So I'm not in an overwhelming position. Like, both of the boards are kind of weak, and you will take them both back. But having the big creature is definitely a pretty substantial advantage.
So let's go ahead and do Tide Turner over to here with your recruit. And then I will gain 1. I think in this case I will discard. Oops, come on, discard outside the hand. There you go, and draw 1.
Yes, I did find it a little awkward to drag stuff out.
Yeah. Dang, I'm still 1 short. Yep, that was maybe a little bit of a blunder. Oh well. Let's go 1, 2, 3. Or whoops. Let's go 1, 2, 3. Cycle 1. Void Seeker on the Noxian Drummer to deal 4.
Okay. I'm feeling okay about that.
Yeah, and then because you definitely still have this game. And then let's go ahead and move Annie over. I'll gain a point. And 1, 2, bye, just in case I survive. And your turn.
Right. So. Oh, great. Okay. So in this case, I'm sort of, as I said, I'm sort of teetering a little bit towards having a hand full of ass because I've started to draw back into my early game units again. But for the time being, let's see. Is there any reason why I wouldn't want to?
Well, if you wanted to take the Warrens, you could discard one of your low-cost cards and try to replace it. Obelisk wouldn't do anything at this point, but Annie is at 3, which can be a little bit intimidating as well.
Well, Annie, I suppose at this point doesn't specifically do anything now that she's got her effect out of the way. That she's not like an overly... Yes, I saw you refreshing those cards.
Yeah.
Oh, not refreshing those cards, untapping those cards.
Yeah.
Wait, what do we call untapping in this game? Since probably tapping might be a copyrighted term.
Yeah, good question. I don't know. I read the rule book, not sure.
Okay.
But
I suspect everyone will end up calling them tapping and untapping until we get told off by somebody.
Yeah, exactly. So,
right, so let's see.
And that's the scary part. Because if I have a Void Seeker in hand, Annie and the Void Seeker would be enough to take down the Thousand Tail if there were no response.
Yes, and in this case, I do have a response, which is why I was quite pleased. So I feel a bit more comfortable, at least based on what I know is available, to throw across this wee beastie.
Okay, and I
can take out your strongest.
No response.
Excellent. So that's good. So in this case, I'm going to tap, tap. Tap, tap.
Nice. Okay.
So, I mean, this is basically my last gasp in the game in terms of when I'm going to actually have a viable hand, because I've got no way of recovering my hand beyond this point.
Yeah.
So I think I'm roughly where I think where I should be, which is that I'm on the precipice of pushing the game to an end as I'm starting to run out of gas.
Yeah. Okay, so let's see then. Gain 1 for holding. Yeah, I think that might be my most viable. Slight pun. Anyway, let's go Darius. Let's go 1 for cleave. Ready Darius, add to 10. Think in that case, Darius will move into the obelisk.
Yes, so I feel a lot better about this because while Darius, so I feel like my previous setup where I just like throw a bunch of junk units together, Darius completely ventilated me in that situation because he's just straight up too strong to allow for any amount of weak units to really deal with him effectively. But if I'm going to lose one big unit, at least I've absorbed one of your biggest punches.
Yep.
In having that happen.
Yeah, exactly. So, all right. So, yep, I will go ahead and score a point for that. I only have 1 left, so I'll go ahead and ready to and pass.
Right. So, I've got the potential to win on this turn.
If you had...
The only thing that's really stopping me is 3 mana.
Yep. And so that's the big thing. Oh, and Darius is down to 5 now. Not to scare you away.
So let's see. Realistically, what could you have? I mean, we've had the so Void Seeker can kill one of my units. Even if I Grand Stratagem, you can. Oh no, it's not a battlefield. So if I do that beforehand.
Yep. And here's the thing: Grand Stratagem will also add even 1 more for each Ravenbloom student as well, because it is a spell. So
that's looking pretty good already. So I could, as stands, I could put in 2. I could put a Grand Stratagemed Ravenbloom student into each battlefield, and force you to respond with your remaining spell.
Exactly. And then even still, that very well could be a trade, if anything, because if I had, unless I had fight or flight, I think I've already played even like 1 or 2 this game. I've played 1 so far this game. And so...
Yes.
But even still, if that does end up failing out, then you will still have a recruit that you could then utilize after the fact and clean up wherever the falling short happened. So you're in a really good position.
Yes, your best case scenario here is the fight or flight, which will effectively kill one of my 5/6 strength units.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I see.
But then you would also need to have a 1-cost spell that will be relevant, which would maybe be Cleave. That's
no
+3.
Cleave is only +3 on an attack. If I am defending, the Assault 3 does not apply. So...
Okay, so at this point, I can't think of any reasonable combination of ideas that would come into play here that could stop this from working. So let's go ahead with the Grand Stratagem play.
Yep, because you're in a really good spot right now. So 6 and then recycling 3 yellow. So perfect.
Then everybody gets 5.
Yep, except Ravenbloom students, they'll get 6. Because you activated the spell. Yes, correct.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
So actually, when I was complaining about drawing my early cards, I was super wrong.
No, and that's the big thing, because Grand Stratagem or even having another Thousand Tail Watcher, when you're at 6, it's like, cool, well, I'm good. You know?
Sorry, this is a small side note. We do need to figure out a way to refer to game points and resources differently.
Yeah.
Initially, I was like, 6 resources? No, he's talking about 6 game points. Okay. And then he started talking about 6. And like, no, now he's talking about 6 runes. And I'm like, oh gosh, that is very confusing. Okay, so I do apologize if I'm just like drawing this out unnecessarily.
No worries.
But let's go on with the 8 with?
I have 0 response.
I mean, this is going to be one of those things, isn't it, where I've like planned out to go like 1,000 miles across the finish line. I actually did have it.
It's like, nope, you got it.
Well, that went a lot better than it went the first time. Jeez.
Yep. And that's also the scariness. As soon as you get to 6 points, you can just take the game just like that.
Oops, I didn't actually mean to do it, Bashford. Oh.
So yeah.
Well, that makes you feel a little bit better about the deck overall in terms of, if that would be my only experience of the deck, I would have been like, well, that deck sucks. I'm never playing that again.
Yeah. So that's what Viktor can do, and that's why he can be very scary, because you can deal with the initial Viktor board state, like what you saw maybe in game 1, where I bounce your stuff back, and then immediately on the following turn, he can just come back with a vengeance, rebuild the board, try to attack again, and then as soon as he gets to 6 points, you're almost saying GG.
Yeah, it definitely felt like a completely different game when I had you under pressure versus when I didn't. Because it felt like it was like a really small margin where you got ahead of the tempo, and then I was constantly playing just to try and catch back up to you. And then you would always have something which would be, I think the Void Seeker exemplifies that, where it's like, you would kill my unit, and then you would draw a card. So you would trade, like, if you were ahead, you are trading with advantage and just getting further ahead.
Yeah, exactly. And then Annie's ability as a champion as well, to even just fish that back out from the trash, and be able to even utilize it again, is really big as well.
It does feel a little bit like, I mean, I don't know how many Void Seekers are in your deck. I'm assuming like
3. Yep, correct.
So, I mean, if I was going to be reductive, which I will be, then it feels like the deck lives or dies on how useful killing a 4 strength unit or below is. Like, I'm assuming that if my cards were mostly like really big cards, it would still be useful, but you'd have to be, say, trading a unit and that spell.
Yeah, exactly.
Get rid of one of mine.
And that's the thing, if you would have tacked in with Thousand Tail Watcher and I did have a Void Seeker, for example, yes, it would have been a trade, which really would have hurt you a little bit as well. Not nearly as much, though, as me losing Annie and using a spell to get rid of something, And so, yeah, that's kind of the risk and reward of that. But if you happened to attack in with like a Vanguard Captain and like 2 other 1-drop units, or 1 might units, and then I went ahead and Void Seekered your Vanguard Captain and taking it out, then I could very well win that exchange and still be able to hold the battlefield as well.
Gosh, yeah, it's only made for a very, I think, yeah, it's hold on to what we were talking about before. Like, I mean, I know there have been sort of show matches on the YouTube channel already. I think it would be really fascinating to get that done, like that kind of context, as whenever we get really high level players in the West of this game to do that as a piece of content for themselves, because they can easily do it where they do the game purely from their perspective and they just talk the whole time. And then what Rift Labs does is with permission, take both of those perspectives and juxtapose them, like, cut from one to the other. And maybe even when, like, if they're saying things roughly around the same sort of time that correspond to what the other one is talking about, like cutting between, so you sort of, go up and say, I really hope he doesn't have this card. And that's supposed to be like, I'm so glad I have this card.
Yeah, no, and that'd be so cool to be able to see. Even just even just them talking on their own turn and thinking through the different lines and things of that nature, because it was like, and we had kind of even a little bit of a taste of that as well, where like, you were thinking out loud and being like, oh yeah, I could be doing even like this kind of series of actions and whatnot. It's like, or I could also go this route as well. And, just would be really cool to see that on the highest level.
I guess there could be a world in which, a sort of a small version of that idea was done where you had the players in the Discord with the casters, the players would be muted. Would be deafened the whole time.
Mhm.
And then at a certain point, the production would be like, "Okay, we're gonna like drop the casters for a minute. Like player A, just talk through your thought process at this point, and we'll be able to hear it on stream."
Yeah.
And then and that could just be a way to make the casting more interesting by sort of having the sort of player comms thing, but almost like having the player join in the commentary on their own terms.
Yeah, exactly. That'd be fun. That'd just be, because we don't normally get a window into the mind of that kind of level, and so that'd just be really cool.
Oh gosh. All right. Well, let's see. Time wise, but the games did go past. Once we got set up, the games did go past relatively fast.
Yeah.
What's your time like at the moment?
I think I do have time for we could play a third game if you want. We've each won one. And then afterwards, I think I do have something coming up within the next hour.
Okay. Yeah. Well, I can, if I throw the stuff back in, if you do discover, of course, that that things are a little bit more involved than other than you thought, then we could always just
Yeah, definitely.
let's see.
So let's see. You have 37, 3 cards in hand.
Oh, that's right. Yes, I was be like,
And then let me go ahead and get your Viktor out.
thank you. I was going to do that next.
No worries. There you go. Okay, and then do a gentleman's shuffle and grab your final battlefield.
This shall be.
This is going to be a quick game. Both of us having Arena's Greatest. We're going to be starting each with 2 points at the start of our game. So that's going to be interesting.
Incredible.
So this is going to be a quicker game. And so I will be going first this go around, I think. And let's go ahead and get that going. Okay.
That's a reasonable hand.
Gosh, I don't necessarily know about this one. Okay. Because, the biggest thing that I'm not necessarily sure about is the Noxus Hopeful. I do need to go for 2, so let's get rid of Flash and Nox. Okay, yeah. We're going to go. Don't look at that. Don't look at that.
Is there a world in which I think it didn't end up really getting pushed through at all, but like, I did have the thought that it's kind of strange that the battlefields that aren't set up in such a way, at least on TableTop Simulator for the purposes of the players, to just have the text of the battlefield showing up at the top and the bottom.
Yeah.
Like in the same way that they are on the card.
Yeah, and that would be nice. And that's luckily they do that on the casts, but to have that actually as a battlefield would be very helpful. So, okay. Well, with that being said, I think I am going to just go ahead and pass it back to you.
Interesting.
Yep, that's all I can do. So you get to go up to 3. You start with 2 points as well for both battlefields.
That's nice. All right. Well, I'll be nothing if not predictable and put out a Raven Bloom student and make my child.
Nice. Well, and that's one of the nicest parts about Viktor in this case, too, is that there is that consistency, especially in the early game. You run a ton of 2-drops, and then even on top of that, you're able to go ahead and, just continually rebuild your board. So let's see then. Let's go 1, 2, 3. Let's go sneaky deckhand. I get to play it open into a battlefield. It's a tough choice, not gonna lie to you, but I think I will pick Arena's Greatest. And after that, I think I will go and pass it back to you, good sir.
All right, let's see. So it's awkward because Raven Bloom student doesn't feel like it does great into specifically your 2 straight unit, just because I don't want to really spend a spell to try and kill a unit that's basically not doing a whole lot anyway. I find that I've actually got a handful of ass. And okay, so I suppose in this case, this is what the hero units are for, really, isn't it? So I will. Yeah, I think this is better than any of the other stuff I can do. 1, 2, 3, 4. And 1. To get that guy out. And do I bother to try and kill a sneaky deckhand, or do I come back for that later? I think. I suppose. Oh. I'm trying to think if it's worthwhile to try and park Raven Balloon's student on one of the sites. I don't want to just trade him off for your deckhand, because that seems like a huge waste of resources. So I think I'm going for the other battlefield. I think I probably just bung both of those over there, and then if you want to snipe one, at least I still get the point. And in this game, with a small amount of points available, that's going to be okay, I think.
Okay, and I will not respond, so you will secure that point.
All right, nice. So I've got my insurance policy of Victor Leader. I, Soto voice, have a handful of spells. So I think that's probably the best I could do in that time.
Yep.
And it's...
So, yeah, and if you wanted, you still could make another token. So one floating.
I completely forgot that was a thing.
And if you had also Hidden Blade, you can recycle a card if you so choose and play it in this battlefield as a Hidden Blade being hidden as an option as well, which can be a little bit of insurance either to refill your hand or hold the battlefield.
Right, yes. I haven't really had a chance to do that yet, but I'll keep that in mind.
Yep.
Definitely not saying that I don't have that in hand.
Yeah,
I'm
not at all.
Not to do it out of spite. I want to be independent.
Yep, no, that's fine. You are a strong, independent woman, and you don't need no man, so I get it. I will go.
That's what I live by.
All right, so let's go ahead and let's go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
I get your holding point.
Oh yes, thank you. Let's go Darius. Recycling that one. Then you know it, you love it. We're gonna go with a cleave. Go up to 10, and right.
The fact that you're gonna cleave just to kill off my really tiny student and give me a token back, I'm feeling great about this.
Yeah, well, and that's the thing though. I have to play a second card, otherwise he just sits here and you get another point. So it's like, yeah, I gotta make that move.
So in that case, I still feel like I am putting you under pressure to an extent.
Yeah, and definitely. Well, and especially with us both starting with 2 points, this game is going to be so much shorter. So it's like I need to just try to be as aggressive as I can in the early game, especially because the later game we go, the more consistent or, and the more big turns you can have as a player as well. So,
all right, so I get a new baby.
Yep. And I score a point. I will go ahead and ready to and pass now that I can actually remember a legend ability.
All right, nice. So I feel like I'm in a better spot now because I've got my spell options are kind of relevant. So what I'm probably looking to do here is to try and bait you into wasting a spell to try and make a trade on Victor when I go to that other battlefield. So, given that I've... that's interesting, actually. Yeah. Oh, whale. Oh, whale. Wow.
Wow.
I just sort of... wow.
Oh, Wilson.
I just understood why that's in this deck. Okay. So, let's first of all, I challenge you. Victor Leader, who turns around to is to challenge you for the controls of the... I don't know what we call... We need a compass next to the battlefield so we can refer to each one by
Yeah.
Eastern battlefield belongs to me now.
Well, and that's the thing too, because we don't have a true north in a virtual world here, so yeah, that is difficult to do. Yeah, you would get that point.
Now, I think I'd like to fuck up your Darius just because I hate him so much.
Oh,
And I think I will do that because, no, this seems the right time to do it, actually. So I'm going to go 1, 2, recycle for Cold the Week.
oh, that's good.
And I was like, you haven't got any other units, so I'll trade my recruit for your...
Yeah, that's really good.
And that frees up the space to go in and take that one as well.
And then you are up to
Which
5.
is pretty brutal.
Yep, that's great shift right there.
And I will 2 for another Ravenbloom student, 1 for another token, and we're back into much more comfortable territory.
Yeah, especially with an 8 might Ravenbloom.
It's like, oh, I thought I snuck that one past you. Like, wait a second. This guy's not even good at cheating.
So, all right. Yeah, that's dang good job. Okay. So let's see then that kind of sucks. Let's go 1, 2, 3, recycle 1, Void Seeker on Victor.
Oh,
draw 1 off of that. Let's go 2 for Noxus Hopeful. I feel like I need to do this. The final 2, I'll do Fight or Flight to go ahead and move your recruit back to base so you at least... Well, you'd score on it anyway. Oh, that's the hard part, because you would go 6, 7 anyway.
Yeah, I'm going to go up to, like, kill zone.
Yeah.
In respect, so you might as well hold on to it.
I don't think there's much I can really even do at this point. I have 4 spells in hand, so it's like, yeah, thinks you go. So yeah, go up 6 as well, and I'm gonna become a religious man here pretty soon with how much I need to pray that I can get back in this game.
All right, so let's see. I'm going to move my guy across to here.
Yes, sir.
Go to any response, or do I go to
I think sorry. Let's see. So I do have 4 in that case because I didn't activate their flight, and then Annie goes ahead and reactivates as well. I don't want to necessarily use that as well, but I feel like I need to Fight or Flight to move the recruit back to base.
Okie dokie. All right, let's continue to batter out your resources.
Yep, Fight or Flight again.
Oh my gosh, amazing. I mean, I feel like that's a real compliment when someone's just like,
yeah,
after you just be like, please, family. Okay. In that case, what else do I do? You know what? I'm going to keep you under pressure by doing another color week.
Oh, that might have actually just sealed the game. Great job.
I figure that, like, my hand is a little iffy at the moment, but I'm sort of doing what I can.
Yeah.
Let's recycle this one to definitely not play anything which you might be familiar with. To that forward. Up now here. Put another guy down. I feel like I'm like, I know that from your perspective it feels like I'm in a really strong position, but from my perspective I feel like I'm really dancing along the edge of a building.
Yeah.
I'm almost there. Almost, but a slight gust of wind is gonna I'm still working with a bunch of really crappy units, but I'm getting away with it.
Yes,
barely.
And that's the thing, though. And and the reassuring thing, it's like, okay, well, my opponent right now is going to have 3 cards in hand. they do have accelerated units potentially with like maybe a Darius or Kaisa. That would be a trouble here for you in this case. Unfortunately, though, I don't have any of that. And even if I can go ahead and, yeah, you get the game either way, because what I have in hand is Poro, Cleave, and Flash. And so what I was going to do in this case was play an Annie to go ahead and get back a Void Seeker to even potentially destroy that. But that wouldn't even necessarily do much because you then can go ahead and go to 8 by just taking both. So it's like either way. Yeah, so you got this game. Yeah. Or well, let's go ahead. I'll get Annie. And then I will go ahead and do 1, 2, 3 for Void Seeker on the Recruit.
Bam.
And then draw a card. Nope. And I drew a Traveling Merchant. So it is a GG. I will pass to you and you can claim victory.
All right. Doop-a-doop-a-doo. Look.
All your motion sick units.
Yeah, you might blow them up. You never know.
Nope. I have 0 cards in hand, so yep, no response.
Wait, where's your hand card?
I had a travel. Well, oh yeah.
Physically look up here.
I think I on accident discarded them. Yeah, I discarded them. So, but yeah, imagine I had cards in hand. Yes. Then yep, you got that one.
Okay, and then this one as well.
Yep.
Assuming that's not done. Wow.
And that is the game.
This guy must have had a good teacher.
So, but yeah, so that is the power of Viktor as well. And Call of the Week is, I mean, that won you the game right there, having both of them.
Yeah, that was, I felt like that, as much as the second game, it felt like trying to keep you off balance was really important.
Mm-hmm.
Call of the Week felt like a way to push you over the edge to being, okay, I'm making it so you can't establish anything.
Uh-huh. Yep, and especially where you're able to just populate pretty consistently. It's like, yeah, okay, well, I can even sacrifice a lot of these units because I'm guaranteed at least 1 unit every turn with Viktor's ability. And so, yeah, that's a scary part. And I really do believe that Viktor is probably the most consistent legend in the game currently. So,
well, you're right. I think this again. This feels like it's really useful stuff for our casting to have this experience and be like, geez, the opening turns for this being pretty much almost the same every single time, and being like a step ahead of the curve puts me in mind of like stuff like Zoo from Hearthstone.
Yeah,
where you just like you know you've got a really strong opener and that someone needs to be ahead of where you'd expect them to be strength-wise to be able to deal with you.
Yep, exactly. And so, yeah, and that's a big reason why I'm also playing, just as many different decks as I can. So, because it's one thing to just see it and read it, but it's another thing to actually know, and, oh, they could go into, because now that you've played Viktor, you're like, oh, man, well, if he had a, hidden blade potentially, then if he hides that card, that can really give him, and you can go more into, like, the strategy of it instead of just the vision of it.
Yeah, well, I mean, I really appreciate you going through this with me. Like,
yeah,
I think it makes you realize that you're right. I think there's experience which can only really be gained by trying this stuff out and be like, oh, that's the thing I can do. I should do that. And then, whereas just reading the deck list, it's like, it feels like you're sort of seeing each piece somewhat in isolation.
Yeah, exactly. And that's the cool part too, especially when we have the ability to see what's in hand and whatnot. It's like, oh, now, and kind of like exactly what we did during our game here is it's like, well, he could potentially go into this kind of line to deal with this threat with this, and then after that be able to play this and and then they actually play it out that way, and you're like, okay, cool, I feel good about that. So
I think it's going to be a little easier because you're right. Like, I'm just thinking if I can show hands to. What color are you?
I am red.
So, like, when I've got a hand like this has been my hand most of the game because nearly everything I've been drawing has been.
So you can highlight and drag out like that, yeah.
There you go.
Oh yeah, I mean that works.
Oh, Singularity, that would have been mean. That would have shut me down immediately as well. But yeah, that is a tough
I
thing.
was holding on. That was my get out of jail free card of being like, okay, everything's gone to hell. I do notice that the Singularity is not an action, so it's still.
Yep, you can only play on your turn. Yep, but if I have something like Darius and Kaisa out on board, those are probably my two most important units as an Annie player. And you just go ahead and say, all right, well, Singularity, they're both gone. You don't necessarily have a lot of card draw, so let's see how you respond as I make another token and take these battlefields.
Yeah, it feels like that's almost like a specific tech in there for it, where it's going to be, I will have a token left over from the previous round, so
yep,
I am going to clear out. You aren't playing buff spells, so you might be able to avoid having one of these units killed, but you're not going to have a good time, irrespective.
Yep, exactly. And then also with that, even if you do deal like 6 damage, and I had a Thousand Tail Watcher in my battlefield, for example, you could deal 6 damage to it, send in a 1 unit or 1 might unit, and deal that final damage, because damage does not respawn until after a showdown has commenced.
Yes, until, if I remember correctly, it's when a combat is over, or it's the damage timing is quite weird in the game.
Yeah, because it's like, well, hold on to it unless we fight, then we heal and make up. We're fine, So, yeah.
It feels like that at one point it did just reset at the end of the turn, as you would expect, and then it caused design problems, and this was their awkward way of patching that.
Yeah, it's not intuitive, but it makes sense once you know it. So, yeah.
But cool. Well, thank you so much.
Yeah.
Well, I'll let you get on with your stuff, and I know I'm multiple times indebted to you, but I will. I'd love to do this again sometime.
Yeah.
Obviously, I don't want to take too much of your time in doing so, but I very much appreciate this.
No problem at all. Well, I mean, and regardless, like, it's still always a great game, even just to shoot the breeze with you and go into the strategy of, it's just fun. I love this game. So yeah, if you ever want to keep playing, I mean, we can always schedule time to do so. I'm a little busy, but I'm not that busy, and just enjoy playing with you. So yeah.
Well, guys, Counterfeit ended up taking 2 out of the 3 games. I was able to go ahead and take game number 1, but the might of Viktor was just too much for me to be able to handle, and he was able to go ahead and take game 2 and game 3 as a whole really well. So that was just an absolute blast. Counterfeit, really great to be able to play these games with you. Thank you so much for being able to do so. Had an absolute blast being a part of that as well, and can't wait to see if we are able to run it back again and maybe try different decks. I'm really curious to see what else we might be able to dive into strategy wise and what might lie in store. But anyway, guys, with that being said, that is going to be it for today, and until next time, guys, have a good one.